So Jonas has hit a roadblock with his snatches at the moment, limited progress, and he's just joined the lifting zone to get some analysis and start moving in the right direction. I'm going to show you the importance of getting initial analysis, the key things that's holding him back, and exactly how we're going to improve it over the next 3 months. So first things first, what I want you to watch is what's happening in the first phase when he's moving from the floor. Now, as you can see, and a couple of key things I always look for in the first phase of the lift is that as he's initiating the lift, the head is moving forward. Now, when the bum shoots up like this in the first phase, what it does by the time the bar reaches knee height is the legs get quite straight, but what you'll notice that happens during the transitional phase is the toes will start to lift, which is a good indication that majority of the load now has gone into the heels. What you'll notice at this point specifically as well is that the shoulders are way in front of the bar. As a result of the shoulders being excessively in front of the bar before the bar has even reached knee height, during transition, or all we can do really from this point, is take the shoulders back because the legs have already got straight. Okay. As a result of the shoulders going back, this means that during the important part of the lift, when we're extending, they've now moved back behind the bar as we're meant to be trying to create vertical force at this point. And then you'll see as the legs extend, the bar is then moving or propelled away. As a result of this, has created distance between him and the bar now as he's trying to move down into his receiving position. And this puts the head a long way back from where it was at the start of the lift, or at this point when he was in a bad position, okay, and back where it was at the start from here. So you can see it's kind of moved from here to here during this part of the lift. Now, the big problem with this is, and everything causes like a chain reaction of issues to go wrong as a part of the lift. So that's why I always say focus on what's happening in the first phase of the lift, and then you'll sort the rest out. But you'll see from this point, as a result, the head moving forward, it's now moving back heavily. As we transition now into the receive, what's it going to do? The complete opposite. And now you'll notice that the head moves aggressively forward when we come into the receive position, probably somewhere like around here. Boop. Yeah, it's pretty good. So it's moved way forward. Now, the problem with this is the head's moving excessively forward into the receive. Your center of mass, your biggest center of mass, is now moving forward. And then you've got said load, which eventually will hopefully be above body weight, moving backwards in this direction. There becomes a point where these two things cross over. As these two loads or forces cross over at this point, what we'll see happens from front view is the shoulders will start to internally rotate, and the catch height then becomes around 90 degrees. And obviously, if we're going to be as efficient as possible in the snatch, we want to catch down deeper. So although like from side on, you go bar position, it's kind of over midfoot and it's balanced, a lot of that load's going to be going through the shoulders. And what we'll see specifically here is the arms then end up making a U shape. Now, this will always affect stability. When we're in the overhead, the arms internally rotate. There's a lot of excessive pressure on the shoulder here, okay? And then he's never going to be able to hit depth because he'll favor loading in the hips and the glutes from this position, irrespective if he's got good range of motion in the ankles and hips, which in my opinion, we probably need a little bit of work on because you can kind of see some imbalances here in terms of height of knees when we're in the bottom position, okay? So how do we fix these things? First things first, like I said, always understand what the issue is. We now identified what the issue is. We need to start getting to be more disciplined in the first phase of the lift. Now, simple things that I like to think about when we're in the start position is to make sure the weight is in the middle of the foot. What I mean by that is if I just press past here, what we need to feel as though we're pushing down through this part of the foot. This enables the shins to stay a little bit more vertical rather than back at this point, and us ultimately to keep more load in the legs at this point so the arms can hang loose. So right from the start, weight in the midfoot is key. What I think about with the athlete as we're initiating from the floor is we're thinking about leading with the chest. So the chest has to go first, almost as though someone's grabbing me by the top and pulling me up. The exercise I put into the program to get them pushing with the legs more to help would be something like deficit snatch pulls to knee would be brilliant. Or we can just do normal snatch dead pulls, but certainly not high pulls because that's going to encourage him to be a little bit more aggressive than I want him to be through this middle phase of the lift. Okay. Second thing that we can work on is him actually working from the top down. So what I mean from the top down is from start positioning and lowering into this position so that he can get used to at this point when he is above the knee. Instead of the shoulders being way in front, what we're going to do is aim for the shoulders to just be above the bar, which is absolutely perfect for us if we can get the shoulders here at this point, because what we can then do is load more through the leg. Arms will look like this. Then when he goes to extend, almost like a spring, everything will move directly up. As a result of things moving more vertically then through the middle phase of lift, he's going to lift heavier without getting any stronger. And that is one of the key things that I'm always teaching people when it comes to weightlifting. It's like, how do I make you more efficient without making you have to get any stronger? And that becomes even more important the older and older you get if you want to reach your true potential. This is exactly why you should sign up to my efficiency masterclass, which I'm going to put the link to below this video, which is happening on the 15th of February, where I'm going to be running through key efficiency. But we'll carry on. Next thing that we need to work on now is through the transitional phase of the lift, us working working so that the elbow stays higher than the hand and the back of the hand stays flat. So that when we move into the receiving position, we're moving like so, rather than back of the hand getting high and bar looping. So I'd utilize a priming drill called turnovers in the rack here, which would be super, super crucial to get them used to the sensation of what it feels like to move like this through the middle. And that's one of the always biggest things that I'm thinking about when I'm coaching someone. It's like, how do I get you to feel, especially virtually, what I need you to feel through the middle phase of lift? Rack slides would be the one. Okay. If we then look at the final component here, the footwork is pretty good in this position, but we need to rebuild strength in the correct position of the overhead squat. So what we're going to be doing, particularly in the early few weeks of his training program, is utilizing the overhead squat and snatch balance for him to build stability and strength through external rotation, okay, when he's descending so that the torso is staying upright all the way through the overhead squat. And then the same when we're doing snatch balance with the leg drive. What this will get him used to is feeling the bar more over the crown of the head and him staying stacked, but letting the hips then sit between the ankles rather than behind the ankles when we're descending. Ultimately, this means that when he hits his lowest point, he'll be able to load more through the quads and stand up more consistently when we're coming out of the receiving position, okay? So that just highlights more than anything the importance of analysis. You can go weeks and months struggling, sometimes years people do, struggling with things that are actually really, really simple to correct before actually making an impact. And the longer you spend struggling technically, the harder it is for myself and the team to do their job and make changes. But this is something that inside the next 3 months, we're going to correct. He's going to unlock the ability to then hit huge PBs. But ultimately, with Jonas being, I'm not going to say his exact age, but he's older than 40 years old, keeping his body in one piece so that he can be efficient and reach his true potential. You know, this is no reason why this man can't snatch 80 kilos and above, which is his dream, which I will share you a video of him doing very, very soon. If you found this useful, like I said, come to my efficiency masterclass, get signed up to that because you're getting insight. But if you also watch this video and think, God, I wish somebody would just do an analysis of my lifting, I'm going to put a link to my efficiency calculator below this video also. What you can do is type in your numbers, see what you're actually capable of versus what you're actually snatching and clean and jerking. And you'll also get sent a link there to book in an analysis call with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do like this style of content, let me know because I do these every single week for my clients and I can certainly bang up on YouTube so you can watch them too.